Hi guys, Dragon King here. Okay, so I've just finished Tomb Raider. It took longer than I expected, but I'll go through like the bad points first, then the good points, and I'll give my overall final thought on the game. So obviously this is the new Tomb Raider. I got it on Steam. It came out not super long ago. It's mid 2013. As most of you probably know, Tomb Raider series has been very up and down. It's had, it's good games, bad games, but Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, she probably is the most famous female protagonist in any game series. I can't actually think of any more popular, but that doesn't mean whatever she does is always great. This latest installment, Tomb Raider, with the, obviously you get those downloadable content as well. I'll go through the bad points. The bad points are, it's very very linear. There's not much free roaming to do. Obviously you go to your little zones, there's loads of collectibles to get, and but it's only one thing you can do. There's no sort of choices to make, should save this person or this person have to die to save that. There's no big choices to take which limit possibilities and options and severely cut replayability, because if you're not able to choose different outcomes and scenarios, then your one playthrough is going to be enough to do everything. Speaking of replayability, it comes down to your skills. You level up, you get skills, you get abilities, but it is not a skill tree. There's not, you can solely specialize in like being a hunter and like great with the bow, great instincts, or you can really specialize being with weapons and be fantastic shot, upgrading them and that. There's not, you just by playing it normally, you just unlock your basically one skill line, and that's it. So there's no room for any kind of customization to one play style to another play style. It's the exact same. So because of that, your one playthrough will be it. There'll be no need to replay it, because there's nothing else you can do with your character. There's no other way you can design it or what other skills you can have. The skills themselves are quite, the only good ones are probably your first bunch you unlock, to be able to get more experience from things and salvage some more things and just bits and bobs. But in general, they're quite bad. Especially the end game ones, they're like completely pointless. The master ones, where you can do the insta kill things when they're injured, but chances are people die straight away anyway, right? A few more bad things before I go on to good things. The character models, not the main people. I mean, enemies you fight. There's probably about 4 different ones, and then it's just complete rinse and repeat. There's no great variation apart from like the boss people and the main characters, like I said. But everyone else, even in little cutscenes, you'll see one guy, with his beard and that. You'll end up killing him. Then probably in a later cutscene bit, you'll see that exact same guy again. And you're like, I'm sure I just killed this dude. Well, so that was very lazy. I noticed that like quite early on. There was just the same people you're facing up against all the time, right? But I think, is there any more bad points that I can remember? The one of the characters in your group, it's not being racist, but the black girl, the coloured girl, whatever. She's got, like, near the end game, she's got a very big hatred for Lara trying to stop everything. I know she's excited to, just wants to leave and see her daughter, but she's being a proper bitch about things. Excuse me, like, if you're not back, the boat's ready, we'll leave without you, all that kind of crap. And Lara's the one like doing everything she can to save everyone and help everyone. So there's no, like an unneeded bitchiness from her. I didn't think that was completely necessary. But I'll move on to the good things. There'll probably be a few more bad things I'll remember as I'm talking. The good things, I like the weapons. Yeah, it's not an overcrowded amount of weapons. The ones you need are pretty cool. You start off with very basic stuff with like your crappy bow and your crappy pickaxe thing, and they slowly start upgrading, and you can get plenty of upgrades for them over time. Either you find them throughout the main story, and also you get big upgrades from salvage boxes if you find the right ones. So the weapons, they've done a good job with. There's plenty of variety, and it's simple, but there's a lot of upgrades for them, especially over time. Alright, so that's a definitely good point. My favourite thing in the game was using the bow. The bow was great because it's not just a normal bow. You can have fire tipped arrows, normal arrows, explosive tipped arrows, or you can have one that has a rope attached to it, so you can like use that to swing, zip line across to places, and you can pull things off. So the bow, they've made a real good job of making the most of it instead of just being a normal bow and arrow. They actually put some thought into like what can you do with it, and the rope one, I've never really seen that before, let alone so heavily used. And basically you rely on that throughout the game to get to all different areas. So they've done a great job with the ideas for the weapons, and the bow. The bow was so much fun to use. Right, as always, headshotting everyone with the bows, the tits. Okay, another good bit. A bit how you basically get around is pretty cool. I get vertigo in games pretty damn easy for some reason, but because the cringe areas Laura's climbing and the heights and the jumps, I keep getting the vertigo effect. So to me that was pretty cool because I was getting immersed, I was getting all jumpy when I'm trying to do some cringe jumps, and then I miss. But she has some cool death animations when you're like sliding in like little river bits and you mess it up and you go hit a branch or hit a steel pipe. You see it go straight through her head and that. So she's got some pretty cool death animations. Controls are pretty smooth and slick. The aiming's pretty smooth. There's nothing jolty. There's no bugs in the game that I found. And no real errors kicking off. It never crashed on me, so that's all pretty good. The story, I like the story. The game was longer than I thought. Definitely longer than I thought. It took me a while. I honestly thought I'd be able to smash it out in like a day, but it was longer than I thought. Definitely. But the story's pretty nice idea. I liked it. I weren't expecting what the whole cause of everything, but it was pretty cool, right? But actually another bad thing is tombs, right? Tombs in this game. Obviously Tomb Raider, your emphasis should be tombs. But they're the laziest things I've ever seen. You're probably in a tomb as long as 5 minutes a time. You literally walk in, little corridor, goes into the main room, solve the rubbish puzzle, and collect the item or whatever, and that's it, and then you leave the same way you come in. So the tombs in this game aren't tombs at all. They're just like a little cave. That's it, little cave to get some bonus item, and the rest of the time you're jumping around shanty towns, up cliffs, in temples and that. You're never actually venturing in some mad mythical like ancient tomb. So that is a different approach. It was obviously you think you'd be more inclined to not be outside as much and in some mad cavern at one point, so some ancient temple civilization that's been underground for ages. Right, so that's pretty cool. Well, not cool, that didn't happen. Right, another thing was the people you find around. So basically you fight 1 million people in the game, but they're there as survivors, and they're trying to escape from the island by giving the sun god a mortal to transfer a soul and basically let them go off the island. So all these guys, loads of guys, have been on the island for a long time, right? So I'm not sure if they've been there for a couple of decades, you know, a couple of lifespans. But I was curious, like, there's not a single female. It's just a million guys, which I find is weird. How could so many men be stuck on an island and not a single female? That I thought was a bit weird. I'm not too sure how that works, but hey. But as a game, it looks really nice. Music, some of the music was alright. None of it really stood out to me as like, this sounds really cool. Apart from near the end. Near the end was getting, you know, where all the action's kicking off, you know, all the mad storms are coming. So the end was pretty, quite actiony. Some of the sounds to things were pretty cool. But it's a nice game. Definitely better than I thought it was going to be. Longer than I thought it was going to be. It looks really nice all around. You know, it's nothing, no Crysis 3, but it looks pretty cool. So I recommend giving it a go. In all honesty, I mean, there's no replayability at all. Not a single prayer in the world you'd need to play this game again. Once you've finished it, there is no incentive to ever play the game again. But as a game, it's definitely worth just having a smash through, because it's an interesting game. You know, it's very linear. The story's pretty alright. The areas are pretty cool, and it doesn't rush things. It unfolds it all at a nice steady pace. So yeah, it's just give it a go. I think it's definitely worth one playthrough. So I give it probably a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I think maybe 6.5, just because it's an average game. That's what I class it as. Yeah, I couldn't. One of the other fun things to do is also you can blast chickens and stuff in the face with a shotgun, or headshot them with your bow and arrow, and you collect quite a lot of experience. You get more experience from doing that than you do normal people, so that's pretty cool. Alright, but that's my thoughts on the game. Happy I bashed through it. I wish it was quicker, but hey. So there you go. So let me know what you think. Please leave a comment down below. Obviously subscribe, share, and as always, thank you supporting my channel. Alright, goodbye.